So we are reading about the seventh chakra, seventh point, and we started reading this heading, the paracosmic region, a powerhouse. So besides stillness and expansion, take on a new meaning at the seventh chakra. This chakra is a storehouse of inexhaustible energy and power descends from here to the sixth chakra. Like I mentioned, we don't stay on the sixth chakra for a longer time, we just bypass it. And the sixth chakra gets worked, it gets its energy and power, everything from the top down, seventh to the sixth. And that's how it works. And in the previous chapter, sixth chakra, we learned that, by the kind of power which is the sixth chakra holds, it makes us get attracted to it. It doesn't allow us to move further. And also he gave an example, from the Mahabharata where Arjuna was about to fight the war. He was asked to meditate on the sixth chakra. Being, it gives that energy and determination to fight a war. But we are not in the war, so we don't need to have that kind of a power, so we skip it. It's as if a bolt of lightning is discharging from the seventh chakra, which continues to support the expansions of lower chakras. So now we sort of cross the bodily region. Now we are in the mind region. And the mind region, you can pretty much say seventh chakra is the beginning point, even though you can consider sixth as the mind region. And from here, all the lower chakras gets its energy required for it to function. So in some of your meditation, while at the seventh chakra, you feel as if the field of your meditation is expanding from your heart and growing outwards. So when you come out of meditation, you have a distinct feeling of expansion within and without. See, this expansion also somewhat misunderstood in many cases. We kind of expansion we think of as if the balloon is expanding. But an expansion should not be understood it like that. It's an expansion of your conscious spectrum. As it is expanding, you will feel more and more subtler. So you feel that inclusiveness of everything around you. You're not rejecting anything. You are in a state of accepting mode. And it gives you a feeling that you are more than your body. And that is the kind of, expansion we are talking about. Some also feel the expansion as ascension where they soar to a higher level, riding waves of energy higher and higher. So consciousness becomes so liberated that you can sense it projected in all directions. So some sensitive practitioners feel that they're expanding all over and the distance no longer feels like a barrier. To some, even the universe seems small. So the trappings of the curvature, this is where we were last time. I was showing you how the curvature sets in, right? So there once lived a sage named Durvasa in India during the Vedantic times. He was notorious for his power and harshness. His every word would upset others to tears, and people froze around him. His life was a saga of unleashing fear and discomfort in others. You might wonder then how he was a sage if this is the character of a sage. Sometimes we kind of get too idealistic about this idea of saintliness. A saint should not get angry. A saint is always smiling and always looks peaceful. We have this idealistic uh, figure of a saint who is completely detached. All these ideas. But if you see all the pantheons of every sage out there from the past, did not fit into this ideal description of a saint, right? So one of them is who did not fit in is Durvasa. So instead of receiving love and warmth from those around him, Durvasa created an aura of wrath and fear, estraining himself from what he most sought. So I bring up this example to remind you that we are all on this path to become one with the source. We are here to become love. So as we progress on a spiritual journey, it is important that our etiquette, especially our words and actions, reflect the loving tenderness of the heart. The words we use can either serve as a bridge to connect with someone's heart, or they can be like barbs that hurt the feelings of others. At the seventh chakra, it's particularly important to counter any feeling of power or superiority with humility and kindness. This means being mindful of our words and speaking with compassion and respect. So, the powers of nature's work. At the seventh chakra, there are many powers that highly elevated yogis can harness to carry out nature's work. Okay, so let's try to understand this. At the seventh chakra, there are many powers that highly elevated yogis can harness to carry out nature's work. So, how do you understand this concept of nature's work? What is nature's work? Does nature require any work? Is the question, right? So, anyone thought about it? This nature's work keeps appearing in our literature. So, if you understand this concept, I probably mentioned few times from Sankhya Yoga, when the higher merges, when higher for its identity, the identity began in the higher, the Purusha, what manifested is this nature, the what you call the Prakriti or the nature. And the manifestation began. Even this manifestation, how it happened and what are the stages of manifestation is explained in Purusha Sukta. I don't know if any of you have heard of this Purusha Sukta. It's one of the oldest, uh, it's from one of the Vedas. There are few verses which explain the how the creation came into existence. And then later, Nasadiya Sukta also kind of talks about it. But most of the Western philosophers refer to Nasadiya Sukta rather than Purusha Sukta. But the Purusha Sukta was the beginning. In that, it explains the first mind which came into existence. Even before the first mind, the power of nature came into existence. This power of nature is known as Ishvara. So Ishvara, like the Ishvara has three elements. One is the one who gives the birth, Brahma, and the one who protects, the Vishnu, and one who destroys, the Shiva. So the destruction, you see, in Shiva also the destruction, they had this eye at the where you have the sixth and seventh chakra mixes. So he uses the power both coming from seventh and the sixth chakra for the destructive, any destructive power. So you can see the Imagine the nature at work, even at this level, at the beginning. And this power is also known in the from the Indian terms, it is called the Maya, or the power of manifestation. It began from there. And then the first mind came into the picture, and the first mind is known as the egg. That egg is called the Hiranyagarbha. Some of these terms you will find in even in Babaji's literature. And when we were doing complete works of volume one, couple, I was going very deep into the concept of Hiranyagarbha and the egg, how the vibrations have begun. But if time permits, again, we will do it when we pick up complete works again. So the Hiranyagarbha is the next manifestation. From there, everything else is manifested. So the power of nature is always at work. But what happened over this manifestation and so many permutations and combinations and so many, um what should I say, the consciousness itself manifesting in many ways, the nature is at somewhat out of balance. And Daji frequently refers to as entropy. The entropy has set in. Now it requires certain higher power to kind of bring this balance back. And whenever this balance is completely out of balance, this higher work is required. And that higher work to bring the balance back is nature's work. So even you will see that in reflected in one of the verses in Gita, Yada Yada hi dharmasya. So whenever to establish dharma doesn't mean killing the evil and only protecting the good. That is not how it should be looked at. It's much higher than that. In higher, there is no good and bad. There is only balance and imbalance. So whenever this imbalance set in, the higher power has to come to establish that balance. So the power of an order that can shake up galaxies and planetary systems. So the seventh chakra also home at mightiest instrument to the mightiest instrument of power to wield the supreme or the Mahakala chakra, which utilize this Mahakala chakra, this power is utilized to cleanse universe of negative elements and restored order. So, if you have not heard of this power, the Kala chakra, we are using this power almost every day, especially the heartfulness practitioners. You know how? You know how it is utilized?
Is it in cleansing?
Yes, that's right, cleansing. The cleansing, the reason we are able to do the cleansing is because in the initial initiation sittings, what we call the 3 sessions before you start, this Kala Chakra is enabled so that we can do the cleaning. But you might wonder why this power is required to do the cleaning. Because what is called, if you understand the from the scriptures, they say this the transmigratory life and death and birth, it's a cycle we are stuck in. Why this life is stuck in this transmigratory life? The sole reason for it is so that it can undergo what is called the bhog, the natural cleaning process. The life itself provides so that we go through all these ups and downs in life, so many things we go through. so that the cleaning will happen. But in the process, if I'm cleaning 1%, I'm accumulating 99 additional percent of impressions. So we are stuck in a never-ending cycle. But the process to clean, they say nobody can escape karma. But the reason until heartfulness came into existence, one is completely subjected to their baggage of the karma. There was no higher power to take over. But when this Kal Chakra was introduced, we have the ability, something which has the ability or power over the nature, above the nature, so that it can go against the nature. And that is the Kal Chakra. And that power is introduced to us so that we can perform our daily cleaning. Otherwise, just because you know the cleaning process, you cannot do the cleaning unless you go through this process, right? So that's why it is something which was introduced so that we can. It was there. I mean, nothing is created. Everything is there. It's like when Newton discovered gravity, he did not create gravity. It was already there, and he described the phenomena. Same thing here. It's already there. It was discovered. And then it was discovered in such a way that it can be given to us so that we can use it. So it's important to note that these powers are not meant for pleasure, showboating, or dominating others. They are meant for betterment of humanity and are used by evolved souls working under the orders of the nature. So nobody can defy nature. Any defying nature, it knows how to execute the higher power and to stop whoever is defying it. That's why there is so much enormous, faith and connection. All our teachers have shown, all our teachers means all our teachers from the past till today. Like you can see that reflected in Jesus's life. You can see that reflected even in Krishna's life and Rama's life. All the saints, they did not say, oh, I have the power like He-Man. They never said that. All that they said is, whatever is needed comes from above. And you see that reflected much in the Moses story, right? So the heartfulness is the path of love and not power. The system is designed such that practitioners are insulated from any powers along the way. Also, any effects of the power that come our way are channeled into creating onward momentum for the journey. So we'll read this Ask Daji and then we can get into meditation. So, Daji, I often hear about a mystical power of the yogis, especially astral travel. Can you talk about this? You might have heard about this astral travel, basically, the astral body traveling. And some people might have experienced. So, let's see. I mean, the astral travel has been popular subject in pop culture books and movies, including Star Wars, The Last Jedi, in which Luke Skywalker projects his avatar across the galaxies in to confront Kylo Ren and his army. All this, Star Wars, if you see, most of it is those who understand the Indian scriptures is a direct lift. While these creative depictions are entertaining, astral travel is meant for spiritual work. So when you are at the seventh chakra, astral travel becomes a possibility. as astral travel enables a yogi to go wherever the work demands. The subtle body is sent to the area of work with intention of completing that work. And there's so many, like this out of body experiences people have felt. I mean, within Sahaj Marg, within heartfulness, there's so many I have come across who has this experience of traveling out of their body. But the real purpose for which this is given, or for this which is enabled, so that if any work is given and some work needs to be done, it will be done through this travel through the astral body, so that you can attend to a situation as if you are attending in person. So it's very much possible. The yogi can also send the subtle body to many locations at the same time. So in the world outside, we travel from one place to another. In the inner world, the journey is such that you go nowhere, and yet your presence is there where you will it. So any questions from this? See, I can go little, I can give you some few examples and little go deeper into it, but just keeping in the time. If you have any questions, we can discuss. Otherwise, we can get into meditation or any observations. All right. So